What's up, upstanders? Dr. O here. And how do you feel right now? Like, where's your energy right now, given these tariffs that have just gone into effect? A few weeks ago, I put up a video talking about how America is starting to feel like we did under the COVID pandemic, in terms of the sense of despair and all of these other types of issues that people are dealing with. Well, when I look at the effects of these tariffs, and I look at and I look, and I mean the effects, I mean just the response right now. When I'm seeing stories about America's beer is going to be coming off. I don't drink, but beer's from Kentucky is going to be coming off the shelves in Canada. Where I feel like when I hear about Canadians going out of their way to make sure they're not buying U.S. products. When I hear about what's going to be happening with the automobile industry because of the parts that go back and forth between Michigan and Canada, and when I think about the Target CEO, place I ain't been, some of y'all ain't been, shout out to the protest, to the boycott of my former favorite store, and Best Buy. Their CEO said prices probably start going up as early as this week. Uh, then you look at the food, yeah, guacamole at Chipotle and all, it's gonna be more expensive. You look at eggs, starting with the bird flu and then whatever's gonna happen now. So many of the vegetables and fruits we get from Mexico, like we're really about to go through it as a country, and the tolls taken on our spirit, right? There's this tax on our spirit, because if anybody knows what a tariff, which is a tax, the consumers are the ones that always pay. This is hurting our spirit on a deeper level. And it's all being done by one person or two, depending on how you view Trump and Musk, right? And one of the things that Rachel Maddow asked a lot is, who is this being done for? Who is it being done for? Because when you can understand who it's being done for, you can better understand how to fight and activate against it. But the fact of the matter is, everything that this man is doing is actively hurting average Americans, helping the ultra rich in this country, and benefiting Russia. And so when people say things like, Malcolm Nance, that there are Russian spies running the White House, I mean, I think it's very easy to say right now that this president is a Russian asset in many ways, but now he's actually, with the tariff war, isolating our neighbors. I mean, you want to isolate like Canada? Like, why would you do this? I mean, would you is this like, it ain't like a response, or I just don't get it. Maybe Canada was gonna put tariffs on the United States, or like what Kendrick Lamar did to Drake. I don't know, like out of anger, but they didn't do that because we're friends. We're supposed to be working together. Canada has been one of the greatest, has been the greatest ally to the United States, and for what's about to come, these town halls that Republicans have decided they're not going to do anymore because they got tired of hearing from their own constituents. And by the way, if you're a Democrat in a ruby red district, you are a constituent and you count as well, just as much as anybody else. I don't believe this nonsense about paid people going to these rallies. These were actually the people who are upset. But what are people going to do about it? There are a few hundred elections happening across the country between now and 2026, between special elections and all this other type of stuff. People could be getting active, right? I don't people. Some cities and states have recall processes. Like, there's a lot going on that we don't have to wait to 2026 about, in terms of the midterms. But this man, in very short order, has crushed the American soul. And I'll talk about this a little bit later. But what I'm seeing is very reminiscent of what I've been reading about Nazi Germany. And J.B. Pritzker, of governor of Illinois, who's Jewish, talks about how, like, the Nazi government took over in like less than 2 months. Like, he broke it down to the hour, like a month, 3 weeks, several hours. And that's what this rapid speed is about. And all these people want to give Trump a pass. Like, well, maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he doesn't understand. Like, could y'all stop doing that for real? As Americans are dying, as this tax on American soul is actually affecting people across the world, as people are dying from the death of USAID and the like. So it's right now, it's time to really check your pulse, check your heart, check where you're at, and really figure out what you're going to do to stay engaged or get engaged if you haven't been in the game. I understand after the election, people were mad and everybody was like, I'm going to go sip my tea, I'm going to go rest, and so on and so forth. But you can't do that anymore if that's who you were. Because the fact of the matter is, there's not a single part of this country that's not going to be affected by the tariffs. As simply as going to this, and then you talk about all the Americans who are losing their jobs. You talk about all the undocumented people who are being deported, many of whom are not criminals, some of them who are business owners. You talk about the tax on the healthcare system from people being afraid of being apprehended, whether they're undocumented or not. I'm not calling people illegal aliens because nobody's illegal. And you know, they're and what taxes, and they have some of those folks have businesses that are not being serviced and closing, hurting communities. They're not sending their kids to school, so that's part of the workforce that's not going to be trained. Like, this is real right now in the United States. And the sooner you understand why it's being done and how it's being done, you better understand how to fight it. So now's not the time to disengage. Now's the time to fight and get in the game and stay in the game. And then to actually realize that this isn't a game. Because there are real lives on the line right now. Just as Justin Trudeau was talking to, President Trump, he said to the American people, this is all happening because of one person and one person only, or one and a half, depending on how you see those two. So people are hitting gym memberships being canceled. I mean, run this, daycare being canceled. Like, just run down the list. We're here, y'all. But I do believe that as a country, we've been through worse. And if we continue to work together, we can get through this. If we stay organized and we fight to continually work to create a country where everybody can be celebrated and not tolerated and not just kicked to the side like they don't even matter. Because that's happening to too many people. And lastly, for y'all who say that, you support Trump and Musk, you just don't support how they're doing things, then at the end of the day, it means you don't support them. Stop trying to sugarcoat it. Stop trying to walk the fence, and get off the fence and get in the fight and stand up for the American people. Peace.